Hey guys, welcome back. I am Stu and this is Future Funzone for Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic. This is the fourth scenario in the Mayan SOS scenario pack. In this space theme park, you must finish building the 5 existing coasters. Your guests also prefer high intensity rides. Your objective: to finish building all 5 of the partially built roller coasters in the park, designing them to achieve excitement ratings of at least 6.6 each. Okay, so we've got not a huge park. There's an entrance and exit at either side, path running through the middle. So these are the 5 coasters. We are charging for the rides, free admission to the park. It does say that the guests prefer more intense rides. So let's open the park up. Let's get a couple of guests in and we can just double check that. So we've got, let's see, we've got some transport rides. There you go. There's a first guest has come in. Intensity greater than 9. It's running on fast forward. Let's get a few more in. There you go. Another one. What are we doing? Greater than 9. Any down this side? Greater than 9. Okay. So won't bother with the transport rides then. Gentle rides, won't bother with those. These will be the 5 coasters: a mini coaster, limb, Floorless, Giga, and vertical drop. Thrill rides, now we could probably get away with a top spin set to Berserker and an Enterprise if we raise the number of spins up. Although the guests do want an intensity greater than 9, they will go on something a little bit lower than that if your park rating is high enough. So if your park rating's on maximum, I believe they'll go on rides that are maybe 2 points lower than their target. Won't bother with the water rides. Not a bad selection of shops, but we could do with some more. So I think what we'll do is I'll put all my research into shops. I'm going to want a kiosk down to charge, put the umbrellas to £20. So if it does rain on this planet, then we can make a lot of cash off that. But yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll just start building the coasters. The easiest one, I figure, to build first of all will be the vertical drop. And what I'm also going to do, not only am I going to target the 6.6 excitement, I'm also going to target an intensity of 9 point something. That way then we're guaranteed the guests will ride it, and the fact that the excitement and the intensity are going to be so high, we should be able to charge a lot more than what we'd normally charge for them. So I'm going to crack on building the vertical drop. I'll see you soon. Junior 1 vertical drop built. I've painted it green. All the other coasters I've painted white and another color. That way then it's an easy visual for me to know which ones I've done and which ones I haven't done. So I'll pause a second. So the coaster then, this was the pre-built section into the loop. It wasn't getting enough speed to build another loop. When I connected it back up to the station, the 6.6 excitement was easy, but the intensity was still rather low. So I tried adding some unbanked bends, but it wasn't going fast enough to give me the necessary intensity penalty. So what I've done then is I've added this extra chain lift down into a drop, into a loop, and then this unbanked bend here, that is what gives me the 3.03 lateral Gs. When I first built it, it was just after the loop, but the intensity was a bit too high. The lateral G was too high. So what I've done is I've added this extra section, and then that way then it slows down only like 1 mile per hour, something like that, into the corner, and that was enough then to give us the lateral G where we wanted it. So we've got the intensity, a nice 9.12 intensity. So we can have a look at the lateral Gs, and where is it? It's that spike there. That low 3 point something. That's that corner there. So that's the first one done. And with the stats being so high, the guests are more than happy to pay £20 a go for the ride. So at the moment, we've got a very small amount of money in ride tickets, but that's because we've only got a few hundred guests in the park. As the more guests start coming in, the ticket sales will go up. We've got loads of shops down, so we're going to make some money off that as well. Hasn't rained yet. but I'm going to start building the next coaster. I figure the limb coaster is going to be the easiest one to build. So I'm going to crack on with that. I'll see you soon. August year one, got the limb coaster built. That's the yellow one. So it's just about to launch. We're charging £15 a go from that. Nice unbanked bend there. That gives me the lateral G I want. Some inversions as well. And then back to the station then. Very, very easy design. Nothing complex at all about that. So let's have a look at the stats then. So that 2.65 lateral G, that and a couple of inversions helps me get a nice intensity as well. So we've got, let's have a look at the lateral G. There's the unbanked bend at the start there. Just right by there. Just right by there. That gives me a nice bit of intensity. And then the inversions as well, they help. So that's 2 done. And as they're both 9 point something intensity, the guests are more than happy to go on them. So that helps me get the extra cash as well, because we are going to need a lot of money on this level. Now, building the coasters over 6.6 excitement, that will be the easy part. But unless the intensity is high enough, the guests won't ride them. So 2 coasters down. I think the next easiest one to build will be the Floorless coaster. That's this one just over here. So I'm going to start building that and I'll see you when we're done. March year 2, Floorless coaster's done. Nice high stats on it. So we're able to charge £20 a go for that. Money wise then, we're making some good money every month now on the ride tickets. Now we've got the 3 coasters all built. Vertical drop, limb and Floorless. Got the loan. We've had to borrow a lot of money to help pay for that. But with the rides now taking a lot of money, we'll start paying that back really, really quickly. Shop sales aren't too bad, giving us a nice little bonus. Hasn't rained yet, but if it does, we're going to make a ton of cash from the umbrellas. Nice high chain lift then into the first bend. And now for this coaster then, I've decided to add a load of loops. So that allows me to have a nice bit of an intensity. Plus, it also allows me some leeway with some future coasters to allow for some interactions with all the loops. So that was probably the main reason for it. Full photo section, earn a few extra coins off the guests, and then a nice meandering section back to the station. A brake run there, and block brake to allow the next train to go. So stats wise then, high excitement, intensity 9.01, nausea not too high, and then that allows me then to charge £20 a go. So that's 3 coasters done, only 2 left. So the Giga coaster and the mini coaster. Now I figure the Giga coaster is going to be the easiest one to build, and I like to finish on a Giga coaster for things like that. So I'm going to leave that one till last, and I'm going to target the mini coaster now. I think this is going to be the most tricky to get the intensity. So I'm going to have a play about with that. I'll see you soon. October year 2, the mini coaster is done. Ironically, it's the longest coaster in the park so far. So money wise then, we've managed to pay back the loan because the mini coaster wasn't actually that expensive. It took a while to build, but it's quite a cheap coaster. Shop sales again, not too much. It rained back in April, so we made a nice tidy profit there. So for the mini coaster then, let's have a look at the stats. I've had to go for lateral G and a high amount of drops in order to get the intensity where I wanted it. So some nice interactions with the Floorless coaster. And then the second loop then, this is where I'd already tested it and I found, yeah, I'm nowhere near the stats I want. So this S-bend then, this is where the lateral G comes in, the 2.9. So that's where it spikes just there. And then just over here then I've got a brake as well. So that slows it down a tiny bit, just a fraction. Before that, it was way too high. The intensity was stupidly high. So just adding that little brake there, drop it down, even if it's only 1 or 2 miles per hour, that just drops the lateral G down enough so that it doesn't give us such a high penalty on the intensity. And then this next section then is a very compact section designed to give me a load of drops. So there's about 11 drops in this one little area there. And then, so that's enough to take the intensity up over the 9.57. So on some coasters, you do really have to be wary of the amount of drops that you include. So yeah, this one then, once I added that tight S bend and the number of drops, it was okay. I've still got it on test mode. So the excitement is fine. It's over the 6.6. The intensity is 9 point something. So that's where I want it. The only issue I'm going to have with this now is because the ride time is so long and you can only fit, 4 passengers per car. So it's going to have a very, very low throughput. So if I open this up, we're not going to make a lot of money off it. And also the amount of guests queuing for it, that's going to stop me making money on other rides, because those guests that are in the queue for that could be riding on other rides. So I think what I'm going to do, now I know, wrong one, now I know this one's fine. I'm going to stop it, and then I'm going to toggle the chain lift speed. So that resets the stats. So now when I build the 5th and final coaster and the results for the Giga coaster come back, the game will only have recognized 4 coasters, and then I can run the mini coaster on test, it'll pass, and then we can pass the scenario. So I'm going to crack on with the Giga coaster. I'll see you soon. October year 3, building the Giga coaster, I had to modify the vertical drop a little bit. So I had to add this little bend here just so I could get the Giga coaster on the path the way I wanted it. So that's fine. The vertical drop is still fine. Giga coaster stats, 10.04 excitement, intensity 9.32. So in order to get the excitement over the 10, it was a little bit under. So I've added some pathing under the station, and I've added some pathing under the chain lift as well. Marcel has done a really good video on boosting coaster excitement with pathing. So I'll add a link to that in the video description. Now I had a little issue on the first time of recording with the sound, so I'm having to re-record it. So when we pass the scenario, we might not get to enter the name in because the value might not be higher than it was the first time. So that's a slight issue. So this was the mini coaster then. I'm going to run this on test. I'm going to open it up. So when the results for that come back, it'll recognize we've got 5 coasters over the excitement, and then we'll pass the scenario. So this one, guess has stopped going on it. Okay, so as I'm charging so much, let's just check. Right, okay, so the Giga coaster has only just become too expensive for the guests to go on it. So let's drop the price on that whilst we're waiting for the mini coaster to test. We'll put it down to 10. That way then we can have a nice full train for the outro. Let's put on maximum, unclick that, so we've got a nice full train. So we're just waiting for the first car to come back. Where is it? Just run it round. There you go. S-bend, drop section. And we've completed it, and it's letting us enter it in again. Awesome stuff. Stew! Fantastic. Look at all those balloons. In hindsight, maybe making the Giga coaster a bright orange wasn't the best thing to do, because it does sort of blend in really well with the background. So this was Future Funzone. I am Stu. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.